commercial use out here, purchased some 18 months ago at surplus sale, and as you can see it's still got its original tag on it and has not yet been connected to see if it works.
What are you up to?
Come and take some pictures of your husband's Radio Shack, please.
Of course you can. I'll go and call him, hold on a minute. Come in.
Smile! It's all lies, I tell you. Trip, thump, all falls over, everything's broken.
Alright.
Oh dear, oh dear. If only people knew the trouble you were having to get in here. Now where are you going to go, dog? You going under there? Go on, in the corner, where you normally go. Oh, I can't see a thing. I didn't do it, Your Honour, it's all lies. Oh.
You're live on television, so
Am
away
I?
you go.
Oh, probably the only time I'll ever get active on TV. The dog, you see, the dog. And, well, it's not looking up to its normal untidy self, it's slightly tidier than usual. But, where would you like to start? Do you want to start in the corner and work round, or that'll do, will it? Okay, well, in the corner as you come in the door, you've got the data library, which, as you can see, is well filed and catalogued and means I can never find anything that I want. This is the thing that the Cray Valley members all rushed around to supply stuff so that it's all there for their usage, he said, in inverted commas, meaning the only person who's given me anything's Owen. Coming down from that, in fact, is an old piece of fax gear below the books. That grey box in the corner is an old Creed desk fax, which I've never been able to get information for, which is quite standard for most of the things in this shack. Lots of information, but none of it applicable to anything that I've got. And the photographic gear piled up on top of it. Don't look at the stuff on the floor, because it hasn't been sorted out yet. Right, if he comes around a bit more, there's just some of the TV bits and pieces. The little monochrome on the top is... Now, you probably heard a noise in the background, which is indicative of the way this shack is. That was something falling down. The TV's for one of the computers, which you can't see because it's covered up. Under that there's a teletext converter, and below that is a, well, bits and pieces colour set. It's made up of about 3 different versions of a Bush Murphy set. Not a lot of interest in the drawers unless you happen to be into printing. There's printing and sort of mechanical tools and such like. The thing to the next of it, the G6 CSY, will probably recognise this if he can see it. This is your old UK 101 Graham. Hidden under here. Look, there is a keyboard just about visible under the paper, the Vera board, and all the other odds and so-and-sos. And that's the circuit that the CIU knows all about, the world's worst piece of photostatting. Next to that is part of the stock of components, which now you know what I do with all those bags that I buy at the junk sales. All good fun and good value for money. I'm glad that people bring them in and don't outbid me, because then I wouldn't have the stocks that I've got here. If I trip over the video recorder and move round a bit, the free poster, hidden under all the junk, is actually a Creed 2300 printer. It's all organised, you know, it's all not planned. Happens to be 1:30 on a Sunday afternoon. There's a printer under there. That's bought from Abbey National or something, one of the building societies, for some ludicrous sum. It's good fun. It's a great workbench because if you're going to build anything, you have to plan about 2 weeks in advance to find the tools and all the other bits, because they're on there somewhere. It's all in there somewhere. Volkswagen. More components and bits and pieces. Again, a lot of these were all from Cray Valley junk sales. So it's a way to get I mean, the whole room's a junk box. It's easier than having a junk box. You just have the whole room as one. Hello, tripped over the mains lead. Oh dear, falls over. Suffers hernia. Best bit of test gear in the place is the scope. That's bought from, where was that from? One of the news shopper adverts, and I'm sure the fella knew what he was doing because it packed up 3 times in the first 3 months, had to be all rebuilt. And oh, something here that'll interest Lyle. A joystick, Lyle. Worked Scotland on that, Lyle, with no feeder other than a piece of 8-foot wire. So it must have been a top-loaded 8-foot aerial. But it worked Scotland. What else have we got? There we are. Something to make Ted a bit jealous. A real nice key. And I use it, Ted. See? Actually works. It's all here, as I say, somewhere. Most of the gear is actually off the shelves at the moment because I've been reorganising. But what we've got on the shelf, starting from the bottom, is the old coffee grinder, the Creed 7B, which still tends to be the main teleprinter equipment. Although I can run micro, I still prefer to run hard copy. On top of that, amidst the junk, is 70 sems TV conversion, 23 sems beacon, 70 and 50 meg converter. That feeds, if you can see it behind the stick, which is used for turning the mains off and on because I can't get under the workbench. Yaesu FRG7 general coverage receiver, and the main 2 metre sideband rig, the old IC202. More junk, all sorts of goodies. Apart from one good thing that I'm pleased with, the 50 meg converter. Not fully boxed up yet, but does work quite nicely. Up on the next shelf, part of the 70 sem equipment, the old a wooden Douglas 6-channel, which functions occasionally. The main RTTY terminal unit, which is the Barteg ST5 design with a shift monitor. Next to that is the Amtor decoder, which is again used to drive the old 7B. Going back in history, we've got the old 2200 GX FM transceiver and the Kenwood VFO 30G matching VFO. Very dated now in comparison to the sensitivities of modern 2 metre equipment. On the top shelf, well, or the next one above, it's mainly bits and pieces and scanning receivers and things like that. Moving up above that, there's the old Liner 2, which was the first 2 metre Sprog generator I ever owned. Next to that is the 225, which sometimes goes in the car, 2 metre FM, and all other assorted bits and pieces, including my first venture into microwaves, erudite, showing the level of my technical ability when it comes to fitting metal to metal.
Does work, Slim.
Oh, it does work, yes, it does radiate. I cooked my thumb in front of that for 15 minutes one night. That was my first entry into computing. It's a somewhat dusty thing called an ELF 2, which was, in its days, very expensive for what's on it. For what I paid for that, you can now buy a Commodore 16 computer, which is about £140, I think. And this has got the massive memory of 256 bytes of memory. Makes you wonder, really. And that's about no more than, it can't be more than 3 or 4 years old. It sort of gives an idea of how the game has progressed. More junk, all sorts of bits and pieces, a few books, and the main 70 SEMS rig, which is sitting up there out of the way, which is the old ICOM IC30A, which suffers all the usual ICOM IC30A faults of intermittent audio and intermittent low power on transmit. Moving on.